said no. Loading preview.
Why'd you have to argue with me?
Because I'm the
It was
boss.
just a suggestion.
Because I'm the boss. Right, we're going live, right? Don't mess with me.
Don't mess with me,
Don't
more
mess,
like.
don't mess with me. Right? Oh, we're live, okay?
Oh.
Right. Oh, it's saying error. Is it live? I don't even know.
I don't know.
Is. It is.
It probably is because it's going, like the time is going.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
And
We weren't arguing.
No, we weren't. I'm the boss. We weren't arguing. Good evening, everybody. Hopefully you can hear us okay and see us okay.
Mm-hmm.
We know we won't look or sound as good as we normally do.
Yeah.
And that is due to using our really bad webcam. But
we normally use the one that we've got at home.
So we apologise for the
the
Vaseline look.
Yeah.
It looks like Vaseline smeared across the
This is the look we were going for, though.
Yeah.
Just so you know, this is what we wanted.
We want that gritty kind of look, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully everyone can hear us.
You know
it's
what to
okay.
expect.
Yeah. We'll say a few hellos. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're so humbled by just people in the chat.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll say a few highs. Pleasant Valley Picker, PvP, as usual, one of our most staunch supporters of the channel. Thank you very much. Lincoln Seller as well. Peter Cummins, hey Peter.
Hey.
We've got Claire Borden as well. We've got Peter Ray, hi Peter. Peter's got a vlog coming up visiting Kingston upon Thames. That will be interesting. I used to love Kingston upon Thames. We were talking about how when I used to be an EA rep and I used to visit the HMV in the game there, Beck used to come along with me on her days off and we used to just Skype, literally.
And he was meant to be working.
Yeah.
I was officially not working.
Yeah, you should have a days off.
I have a day off from work.
But you'd come along with me, so you're an enabler. You're like, I'm a bad person, right?
Yeah, but you offered to take me to the pub.
Yeah, but you knew I was working.
And I was like, yeah, right
so
then.
on my working hours, I would open the call up and
it doesn't matter. You don't even work for him anymore,
I
do
know,
you?
but it was terrible. We were just saying how you'd never hire such a bad employee.
He said to me, he goes, would you ever hire me? And I was like, no.
We've got Southwest Sellers as well. Hi, Gary. Peter Cummins says, I hope Z and Bex aren't eating bacon sandwiches when they get here. We're not.
No, that was this morning. It was really awesome.
Claire Thompson, hi Claire. Nadine. Jay and Callum as well. Hey, Jay and Callum, thank you. It's Jay catching us live. Hi, Jay. Thanks for popping in. She's always flipping. Mandy, hello lovelies. Hi Joan, Lobster Pot, Money Mental, Andrew, Janet Plant, Bob Dixon, Pommy Pickers, Rod. Thanks Z for popping on my waffle, appreciate it. Not at all. If you guys don't know, Rod, Pommy Pickers does a really interesting chat. It's on a morning. I don't know what morning.
I miss it. Isn't it a Wednesday?
I think
is it a Tuesday?
It's a Tuesday or Wednesday morning. Here in the UK anyway.
Yeah.
Because obviously they do it like Oz time.
I think I miss it because I'm.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm at work.
Exactly. But well worth checking out as well. Blitz Simon, Stu Mandry, Freerunner, Vicky Bluebird. Thank you for popping in, guys. Freerunner's watching whilst having a hot bath. Interesting environment to enjoy the show from. Yeah. Thank you. Anyway, right. As you can see from the title, we're going to talk today about sometimes. Please check the current resolution is 1440
by
868, which is not optimal. See, I know it. I know this webcam's messing with us.
Yeah, because we feel like we're sitting
so close.
really close, and
stupid webcam.
We're not. We're really far away.
It's a stupid webcam. We're gonna have to sort this out at some point. I don't know how, but
why is it being trouble?
There you go. Base canvas resolution 1440. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go. That's what. We'll sort it out for next time.
We'll sort it out for next time. We're not going to do it now. You're just going to have to put up with us feeling like we're sitting in your front room.
Yeah, we're just super close. Right, we're going to talk about sometimes people just don't want to buy your stuff. I think that's what I called it.
Yeah. Did you want to go straight into the topic, or did you want to do the graphs?
Should we go?
Because I don't think our graphs have been awful this week. Because I did say to you.
Okay, we'll do sales first. First. Yeah, we'll do sales first. We'll do the graphs, and then we're going to go into the topic because we've got a lot to talk about. Hopefully.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you and correct you.
No, not at all.
On the way we should go around this, but I feel like it gives a bit of. It's
fine. It's fine. But by the way, I just want to say I'm wearing this really nice Volvo official merchandise.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's like a rugby shirt. It's striped. And it's official Volvo merch. Like, I'm not even kidding you guys. Look, check this out. Like, it's Volvo.
And the thing is, right?
I love it.
He drives a Honda.
I drive a Honda, but I do like...
In his Volvo shirt.
Okay, give us the graphs, then the RC. We'll do the graphs first.
Yeah, let's do the graphs.
And then we'll do the topic. And also, actually, before we get into any of this as well, I've got to give a massive shout out first. What?
Pleasant Valley Picker is saying you have a black border around the picture, guys.
Yeah, I think that's because of the resolution.
Like
yeah.
So does that mean like we're really small then?
Hopefully we're not really small. No.
We can't see what you're
seeing.
Hold
on. Have a look at this. We'll have a look at it on here quickly. What do you reckon? Yeah, hopefully we won't look really small or anything. I think it might just be a border because we've messed the resolution up.
Money Mental's asking, have you let Z at the stockpile again, Bex? This was his choice. He wanted to purchase this and wear this. This was his choice.
Oh God. Yeah. Yeah, hold on. Bear with me, guys. I just want to quickly check it out. There will be a border, I think, when my phone finally loads up. Yeah. Only a small border. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. We're gonna have to deal with that. That's fine.
We'll sort it.
As long as we weren't like really small on your screen.
We're gonna do sales first, and the sales tie in with the topic. Okay, but we'll go into the topic. No, not small, just a border. Yeah. No, okay, no worries. You're not small, just very far away. Says Treasure Pirate. That's from Father Ted. You know when Father Ted's explaining to Dougal. Yeah. Joan says you look great. That's fine. Okay. Kirsten says, how can you say Volvo in any other voice than the Volvo advert? I don't.
What's the Volvo
advert? What, the Spinsy Winsy one on YouTube that Jack showed us? I don't know. Well, I just call it. I don't know. I don't know about the Volvo advert. Kirsten knows about the Volvo advert. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Let's get to the graphs.
We're getting off topic. Tone Voice says Bitcoin is trading almost at $6,500. Okay. Anyway, we are gonna do the graphs, right? Here we go. Graphs. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me.
Have you got it?
I've got it here. Here we are. Okay, graphs.
There we go.
So, in a way, this does tie in with the topic, but we'll go into that in a moment. This is the situation on the hobby store.
Yeah.
The past 7 days, we have turned over £512, which is 41% down on last year. Number of transactions are down 5%, so not a huge amount. But the average selling price is down nearly 40%. So what we can take from this is that we're selling almost as much in terms of the number of transactions, which is kind of expected. I think things are generally a little bit slower for most people this year versus last year. So we're only down 5% in the number of transactions. And that leads us to see that where we're losing out is we're not getting those big ticket item sales that we were perhaps getting last year. And actually, if you look at last year's graph for the hobby store, we've got a couple of big days compared to this year. I mean, we had a £240 day. I think the biggest day we've had this week has been a £159 day, which was actually like yesterday. It says 10th of May there actually, but you know. It's in the future, is it? How's it in the future? Okay. Anyway, like we had.
We don't understand. Our
we actually our best day was actually yesterday, and it's somehow like only.
I don't know why it's showing today, but it was yesterday.
No, it's not. It says the 10th there, but there it says the 9th.
It says the 9th.
So on the 9th we had a good day.
So that's not figures for today.
No, so that thing that's popping up, the box is incorrect. But if you look at the graph, it says May the 9th. Yeah. And we had a £159 day. We did have a good day yesterday, and then that actually beat what we did last year. But every other day we've been trading like way lower than the previous year. So you can see we really lost out on the 5th. The 5th of May last year, and we lost out on the 6th, 7th, 8th. We've just been...
It'll be interesting to see what it's like at the end of the month, though. Whether it overall evens itself out.
That's money-wise, guys. The thing is, if you actually look here, for example, on this day, last year, on the 5th of May, we had 4 transactions for £94. This year, we've had 7 transactions for £61. So we're actually the problem is what we're selling this year. We're not. We don't seem to be selling the higher value stuff. And at first I thought, oh, maybe it's because we don't have high value stuff in the store.
No, because we do.
But then I looked at the store and I'm like, we still have some high value items. We're just not selling them.
Yeah, and also I think around this time we had actually bought some more stock. So I think we had cars and helicopters at the time.
Yeah.
And this time round we've got more boats, which
the boats haven't been as great. We've noticed the boats haven't been as good.
Well, not that they haven't been as great.
Yeah.
They've just been slower.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't like to say
and it's not just boats. We've got drones. We've got a couple of drones which but the thing is, we have sold, but we just haven't sold any now. So it just seems to be, transaction wise, it's kind of nice to see that we're not massively off what we did last year. The shame is it's the value. We've taken a big hit on the value, because you can see that the 38% difference in average selling price and the 41% difference in actual turnover, that's kind of a bit of a bummer. But
I think this figure isn't far off of what we did last week, because I think last week we were offering around the same kind of place, or maybe just a little bit under.
But
actually,
really is a lot lower than we'd like it to be.
Yeah.
Consider, especially again, when we go into the topic, we'll talk about sometimes people just don't want to buy your stuff. It kind of runs in with this, but we'll go into that. Going into the general store.
Yeah. So this is a general store. General store.
We've got no figures for last year because it wasn't running.
So this is like, brand new now.
But compared to last week, it's been
a dip.
Yeah.
But it is a new store, so I'm not gonna be too upset with it overall.
Oh, got it. It won't let me thing, will it? It won't let me thing. Okay. All right then. So it's dropped down to like 160
We're just going to get back
in.
Bear with us. So we'll change the screen back.
Yeah, it's dropped down to like.
So here should really know that these things don't work like that when you're on live. Once you set this up at the start and you've been sat here for a little while, it logs yourself out.
There you go. Okay.
Right. Okay. So.
Here we go.
If you want to see,
so here,
these are like the 30.
That's the 30 days.
And you see, like at the start, this is I think when we closed the store
last year.
So you see, we're getting into like the.
We had a nice big spike day there, a couple of decent days, and then we've just been. It's just gone down. So that's for the last 30 days. So
overall, I'm really happy with what the general store is doing.
But this week,
it's just been. But that could be down to us not sourcing enough for it. We are trying to grow it, but obviously, when cash allows as well, because we've got to think about that as well. Yeah,
I mean, it's just unfortunate that like I said, I want to kind of go into how this goes into the topic, that sometimes people just don't want to buy what you're selling, and there's really not a great deal you can do about it. Pleasant Valley says, ouch, that is a lot of red. Yeah, it's a huge dip over last year. It's just the way it is. Sorry you had to leave Andy stream. My boss was here, says DPG. Okay. Dave has come into the chat as well. World Event says, I sold something today listed for 2 years. There is an ass for every seat. There is, but you have to sometimes wait for it. Good evening, says Mel Sparrows, and Z and Bex are shrunken. What's going on? Was it because of the graph type thing?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Honey, I shrunk the mallet. We're looking at graphs. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, just check my PayPal graphs up 222% on a year ago. Must have been rubbish this time last year, says Southwest Editors. Yeah. I mean, this is where I want to go into the topic that we don't feel. We're not going to have any conspiracy theories because sales have been slower this year, but at the same time, there are people crushing it on eBay right now. Just because we're not, and just because you might not be, doesn't mean that there's a fault with the platform. It just means that right at this precise moment in time, you ain't got what people want. Yeah, it's as simple as that.
And it doesn't mean that there's a problem with the stock that
either.
You're purchasing either. It just means maybe it's just not selling right now because the buyer's not there right now.
Exactly. We just don't have what people want now.
Yeah.
I mean,
But then that's something we've got to look at, like when it comes to outsourcing.
Oh, Beck's not in frame, yeah, because look,
sorry.
you need to.
It's I feel like I'm like far away. Should I move this way?
Yeah.
There we go.
So
I feel like I forgot where I was. I was mid-sentence in something.
It's gone. Is it gone?
Yeah.
What? I think it's just the case that like
it was a good point.
We've done a lot of we're very kind of aware that it's not the platform. And it's not us. We've done plenty.
It could be us.
I don't think it is.
When I say it could be us, I think I'm coming at it from the point of view that it could be down to what we're sourcing. So maybe what we have right now isn't what people want. Yeah. But maybe we could change it if we source different things. Well,
that's the thing. We've put in plenty of work. There's only so much time you have.
Yeah.
There's only so much money you have to buy stock without the stock selling. Like, we need stuff to sell for us to go out and then buy more stock, right?
Yeah. And the other side of it is the general store is a new store. It's something that we're trying to grow, so it's not going to be like, although it was nice to have a really nice week last week, it would be silly of us to think that we're going to be repeating that week on week on week on week. Yeah. Because it all depends on what we pick up, what we source.
Andrea's in the chat. Hi, Andrea.
Hi, Andrea.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is like, we've put the work in. We know that our stock sells. We've been listing a lot. I mean, just today we listed 57 items. We're listing every day. We've listed well over 100 items this week. And yet there have been weeks where we've not worked nearly as hard as we're working now, yet we've taken more money, right? So sometimes I think it's just that case. I mean, like, for example, yesterday we had a decent day. Today we haven't. It's just the way it is, and sometimes it's about being able to cope with that. That's the hard thing. That sometimes, you know, you're gonna have to just accept that you might be doing everything right, but if at that point in time the market doesn't want what you're offering, that's just the way it is. You got to remember, like, if you're looking at these massive retail stores that we all look towards, they all have the money to buy seasonal stock. They don't just sell, you know, like, if you look at like a clothes stores, or even if you look at electronics stores, you look at homeware stores, you know, they don't just show the same items again and again and again. I mean, I remember when I used to work at Digson's and things like that, the summertime is when they would put a big amount of promotion, especially during things like the World Cups or football events. Like, there'd be a lot more promotion on big TVs during the summertime, and then, you know, then different times of the year they'd focus on different electronics more, because there are, you know, they look at the market and they look at when people buy what, and as small second-hand sellers of end-of-line stuff, we can't do that. We don't have that flexibility to be like, all right, you know what, right now people are into this, we should just buy a ton of this. We haven't got the storage, and we don't have the cash to be ready for all seasons. So when you're selling in the niche and you are just selling what you can find, you're scavenging, you're hunting, you're thrifting, you're sourcing, you've only got what's in front of you available. Same with us. Even with the hobby store, we're only able to buy what's in front of us with the hobby stuff. We haven't got accounts with big hobby distributors, because they won't have an account with an individual. I only get RC stuff because I've got contacts from people that are in with the big hobby distributors, but what I'm being sold is the stuff they don't want to deal with. So by its very nature, we're buying long tail stuff. So when we're listing all this stuff,
we know it's not something that's going to go like instantly. So we're already aware that not everything that we pick up from those type of places is going to be something that sells straight away. You know, fair enough. Some of it can be sometimes. It can surprise us and sell quite quickly, but then there's a lot of the other stuff that is stuff that will sit around, and we will have our money tied up in. So
exactly, and I think it's really important to bear that in mind, because ideally you'd have the space and the money to have seasonal stock, and then you could have the right stock for the right time of year. So for example, right now, when in the world of RC, if I was to be like, I think if I was to sell a lot of stuff right now, it would be ready to run vehicles, right? But you have to have the money and the space to have that ready to hand. Parts will do better later on in the year, and things like that. It just happens. And then on the other hand, we've got a general store where we are just literally at the mercy of what we find. Last week we were sat here and we'd been lucky enough to find that Bose speaker system, we'd been lucky enough to find some other cool stuff, and it sold straight away. This week we've been out, I found a maggot. I didn't bring it home, but I'm just making the point that I'm the very same. No, but I'm making a point, aren't I? That I'm the same person.
It's the way you were like, I found.
Well, last week I found a Bose stereo speaker system.
Yeah.
I found a vintage WWF jersey. I found all this other cool stuff, high value stuff. And this week I found a maggot. That's a fact. I was looking through clothes and there was a maggot in the clothes. How does that make you feel? That's like, from one week to the next. Because we're at the mercy of what's in front of us. So, our week last week was really good because we had some big sales from the cool stuff that we had found. This week is different because we didn't find any stuff. I mean, we put out a video earlier in the week saying we found nothing at the car booths, which doesn't happen very often, but it can happen, and it did happen. And then I have picked out a couple of items this week. Don't get me wrong, it's not like I've not found anything at the charity shops, but what we have found and we've listed hasn't sold. It's not been one of those things where like last week or the week before, we found a pair of mountain bike shorts that I bought and listed, and they sold within like half an hour for like 40 quid. Sometimes you find those items, don't you? And then sometimes you just don't. You find items that you're going to list and they're not going to sell straight away.
Yeah, but how do you know that it wasn't a case of the buyer just being there at the right time?
It could have been. It could have been.
It may not be that someone was like, been searching eBay and wanting mountain.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Like, it could have just been the right person at the right time, and you listed it and it sold.
Yeah. So yeah, it could be. It could have been. It could have been.
I'm not sure that I believe in like the whole, what's it called?
Well, no, I'm just saying that, like, depending on the item, someone might. You're right. Someone could have been waiting for one to.
We could have had those shorts,
and they could have taken ages
sat there
to
for
list.
like 2 or 3 weeks or 4 weeks.
But this week we found stuff that hasn't done that.
Something that someone was looking for at that time. And
same with the Bose system. Same with the Bose system. We listed it, sold within an hour for we turned like a £30 item into £165 sale.
I mean,
it's sometimes
another example of that is I think you did a video showing it, the cameo pendant necklace. That got returned to us this week because the person that bought it didn't like the colour, and it wasn't matching what she had bought it for. So we were like, no problem, send it back to us. She sent it back. We listed it the same day.
Sold within half an hour.
Within half an hour
for
of it
more
being
money.
listed, it sold for more money than I'd accepted previously. And you can sit there and say...
And that had been listed... The first time it sold, it had been listed for months, hadn't it?
And Zahir was like, I edited the listing and, I realised that mobile friendly wasn't switched on it. And it was like...
Could have been that.
It could have been that.
But it could have easily not been.
Easily not been it as well. So
exactly. So I feel that, like I said, we've listed... The best thing about this is... We know we've put a lot of work in this week, and that's thanks to this office. We've been doing well over 100 listings a week, since every week since we've been here. I think the hobby store is now up to like 1,500 plus items. The general store's on 220 plus items. And it's just one of those situations. Corey says hi.
Hello, Corey.
Bring the maggot home. So he has a maggot. How much would you sell a maggot for?
Did we not watch Corey?
We watched Corey yesterday with Jay. Yeah. Why are you saying that?
Hi.
Yeah. Hi.
It's nice for you to be in chat.
Yeah, cool. he always comes
I
in.
know
says
he
hi.
does. I know he does. It's nice.
Maggots go for mega money. I haven't had a maggot in ages since Sparrow's End, Mel. Oh dear, the maggot chat on Thursday Live. Z started it all. Maggot is not cool.
Did you do a video about it?
No. I was in Pete's chat and I mentioned it. Yeah. Put the maggot on eBay, it will fly. Very funny. Very funny. Excuse me, you found a maggot in clothes. Has he been in the sun? No, it's just the webcam.
No, it's the webcam.
Shazad has a comment. Shazad says the main thing is that you know what your target is. Setting targets is the hardest part of business. Otherwise, you are just randomly doing things. Set targets and meeting them is so powerful. Very true.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Corey, it is Z back in pre-2017. It's the webcam.
It's the webcam.
Okay, it's not my complexion, the lighting and the webcam. And Rebecca is so pale that she's messing with the white balance. Okay.
So it's my fault.
I think the problem is the camera's getting confused with how pale you are and how like not pale I am, and then it's like trying to do the white balance adjustment, and she's making me look like this, and you look just fine, you know. This happened last time, remember? Like, I
remember for ages.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I'm not going to sell... Andrew wants to start bidding at 99p on the maggot. The maggot is not being sold. I left it where I found it. I am not going to be selling a maggot, okay?
No.
Woo, my biggest fan, Becca. Thanks for hopping on last night, guys. No worries, Corey. It was really good chat. Nick has popped in as well. Hey, peeps, I just fried my BBC computer, but all is not lost. Dave has been sharing his knowledge. Oh no! How did you fry it? The typewriter was bad enough. Now maggots. I'm not selling maggots, okay? just anyway. But like,
we're definitely not.
Yeah. So that has been the situation. So you know, we're just. There would have been a time where, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still stressful, right? When you don't get the sales that you think you should get, right? Or not?
Mhm.
Huh? Are you paying attention?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just saying, like,
what kind of mood are you in, right? We
look, you're doing that thing again where you do that.
No,
and then
I'm addressing you. I'm not talking to the chat right now, right? You have got some sort of attitude on you today, man.
How?
Watch it.
We've already done grass, Shazad.
We've already done
grass, Shazad. They were terrible.
You say they were terrible.
We turned over £675 in 7 days, even though we've listed...
it's not where we would like it to be.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah. We've done like so much in terms of like listing. It's just been bad this week compared to normal. But we're not going to be... It's like I said, people just didn't want what we had to buy, right? You know, to sell. We just don't have what people want. Like, do you think... How does that make you feel though when that happens?
What's that? Like
when people don't want what you're selling.
It's been hard, right?
People just don't want what we're selling.
For me, this week, I'm going to say it right. I've been really, really down this week. Last few days. Oh my goodness, you're eating. So last few days, I've been feeling quite down about like the sales and things like that. And I was sitting there and I was like, you know, I'm going to work and I like to see some sort of progress. It keeps me positive, keeps me going into the job every day and not wanting to quit when I can see some progress. And when I can't see that progress, my mood just kind of dips. And the last couple of days, I've been awful. You know, I'm a nightmare when I'm like that, really. You do try a lot.
Well, the thing is, because
it's just I get really, really down with it.
We've said this before, but we did not move up here with you know, the intention of you working.
Yeah, but then
so when we've had to make that decision, that really did kind of bother us.
But we made mistakes.
We did.
We didn't plan enough for a start. Okay, you know, I'm just gonna go into it. Okay, we did not plan enough. Okay, we came up with this little idea that we could move from the south to the north and think that it wouldn't impact us, considering I hadn't had much involvement in eBay at that time. I wasn't sourcing. I didn't even really know how to get my head around the whole eBay kind of situation. So we made mistakes. I wasn't involved in it as much as I probably should have been before we moved, because then that would have helped a lot more, because we had some teething problems with it.
We did. But we've now gotten to the stage where like the general store and the hobby store are technically stronger than ever, but sometimes we just know that the sales are not going to represent that. This week has been tough. You know, it's do you know what's really tough is when sales are not coming in and you still have to do the work. That's the hardest part. Karen actually mentioned this in her vlog today. And for anyone that hasn't seen it, Karen sells clothes. Definitely go and watch her vlog. It's so honest. It's so true. And I think one of the things she said in there was about doing the work, having to do the work when the sales aren't coming in. Like even for me today, I was, listing. We've been listing this week like anything. Loads of RC parts have been going on. Stuff's been going on in the general store. Everything's been happening, but we've just not seen as many results as we would have seen. But it can be very tough, especially when you're counting on that money, as we do. And I think that's part of the problem. If anyone's out there that's thinking of starting in business, really do it when you're financially healthy. We've started off on such a bad kind of footing because we're in debt. We've had to use PayPal working capital. All these things do constrict you and make things that much harder. Like if we didn't have the working capital to pay, if we weren't just in debt in general, we'd feel you're in a better position to be starting a business. In a lot of ways, we shouldn't have even started a business when you think about it in those senses. But I didn't really have anything to lose, so that's kind of like the rationale behind it, and it just meant that it just holds us back a bit sometimes, which is kind of frustrating. But yeah, what's the chat saying? Shazad says, keep your chin up. There are always ups and downs in business. Just try to remember the good days. Yeah, I mean, we're not down like we normally would. Yeah, we're not down because we know that the platform is strong. We know there are people making plenty of money on eBay, and that's a good thing. And we know we've done as much as we could have done this week to the business. We couldn't have done any more. We've got a limited amount of money. We don't have an infinite supply of money where we can just keep buying stock. We've got a limited amount of money that we've put into stock. We've listed as much stock as we can. We couldn't have really done any more. Yeah. So when I think about it, I'm like, well, it is what it is. I know it's going to pick up. I know it will pick up. I mean, it's good that £675 turnover is now like, this feels like a bad week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, and not long ago we were sat here saying we'd like to turn over £100 a day, which is like 700 a week. So we're not actually doing too bad in that respect. Yeah, so it's a lot less than last week,
but it's an old goal.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah,
it's something that we should point out. That aim for £100 a day, like so it was £700 to turn over a week. That was an old goal.
Yeah,
and obviously as you start reaching your goals, you then kind of move the goalpost. So, yeah. Yeah,
exactly. We've got a couple of more comments in here. That's how I felt this week, says Crazy Mike 2007. So how will you cope with the stress, guys? Maybe some debauchery, says Pleasant Valley. Power Reselling says, when that happens, I take a step back and look at long-term progress. Yes, I think...
Yeah, I think that's a good point, actually, because I think overall, overall year on year, we are improving.
Yes, we're stronger than
our figures are going up year on year.
Yeah,
and so
our business is stronger than it's ever been.
Yeah,
so that's a good thing. Like, we never thought we'd okay, admittedly it's with the help of Beck being in full-time work, but we're managing, we're earning more than ever before. The business is stronger, that we've got more inventory. There are lots of positives, along with the growing pains of the business, I suppose. And depressing when sales are bad and you have no idea how to change it. Mags, I agree, but I think that's where you kind of have to have a plan with this. That and you have to be prepared. Sometimes a plan can just mean, like, for us, I think the only thing that's making us like get through this right now is the fact that you've got steady income.
Yeah.
It's not what we want to get us through
No,
this.
it's not. It's
but
not at all.
it's where that is our plan right now. Our plan is, you know, whilst we're growing the business, we know we need to reinvest in it. We've still got this working capital to get rid of. Once we get rid of it, we're done with that. I don't think we're going to be touching another one.
I think in the
it's
future,
done its job, though, hasn't
it's
it?
things like preparing for when things do dip, and they are going to dip.
Yeah.
But it's how we're prepared to deal with them. You know, how set up are we?
Yeah.
You know, have we got savings? Have we got, you know, that sort of
that's been helping us a lot. That helped us massively this week, actually.
Absolutely.
We've been putting away money every time we've been transferring money out of our PayPal into our bank account. We've been taking 10%, which has been a real huge help, especially when it comes to big bills. So, you know, we have the big eBay bill to pay at the end of the month. You know, it has to happen. And Peter Tao says, great show, that's nice of you to say. And Shel Saruni says, I'm definitely like that, Beck. My mood is terribly linked to my sales. It's understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens.
It caught me out this week. I haven't felt like this for absolutely ages, but then I feel like things have been going quite positive. So it's just one of those things where I was kind of quite surprised about my mood, because last week, you know, I had a great week. I was quite happy going into work. I felt really good.
Can I just say, we've just noticed we've had a few super chats come in, which is really kind.
Yes,
massive shout out to KLC Reselling, who super chatted £2, says you're both smashing it, just keep at it. Really appreciate it, KLC Reselling.
Thank you so much.
Very kind of you, very kind. We don't expect to get any super chats or anything like that. It's just very kind of you to do that. Dave has also super chatted. Thank you, Dave. £100 a day, 98 quid to go. Very kind of you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
And Marry Death Deals as well has super chatted. $10, a bit to make Beck smile. Aww. Beck is smiling. Beck is smiling. Really do appreciate it.
We really do appreciate
and Shazad has super chatted as well, $4.99. Thank you. We're always, we don't come on here to tell you ourselves about to get super chats, honestly. Honestly, we don't.
We do appreciate it.
But we do appreciate it. Yeah, we do appreciate it. But like, I think it's just part of it. It's really important to know that this is what's going to happen sometimes. I mean, that's why we've titled it. We didn't title it bad sales or eBay have shut our store off or visibility or anything like that, because we don't believe really that's the case.
No.
We believe that sometimes people just don't want what you're selling.
Yeah. And the thing is, you know, we'll come on in maybe, you know, a week's time or a few weeks' time, and we'll be going, yeah, it's really awesome, you know, sales are great, and you'll see that side, and you know, doing these weekly chats is one thing I will say is that you can honestly see like the ups and downs of what, you know, goes on.
Steve has just commented. Steve says, I used to be the same when I was in my full-time job. If sales were great, I was positive. If they were shy, I was down. My productivity was down. Catch 22. And definitely that is something you have to be like. Today we managed to knock out 57 new listings, right? But it was much more difficult than it was when we last week were having really good sales. Last week it was like we were really excited and really happy because the sales were so good. We were just listing more. We were like, let's go and do it. And
it's you know, it is, well, it feels that much easier to list and to work and to be positive when things are going well. I think it's really important that you can address when it does take that downturn, because then you know, although like you don't necessarily feel like it, you still do have to keep, you know, doing what you're meant to be doing to try and generate the sales. So it's not a case of.
Tommy Bernard says, with eBay's new GTC, you have to get hardcore into simultaneous sale and promoted listings starting and ending every 48 hours. Make sure your margins can support a sale and 10% promoted listings. yeah, I mean, we use all the tools available. We've got Markdown Manager sales running. We've got promoted listings running as well. We offer free postage. We're using Web Interpret. So our listings are shown across all these other eBay platforms as well. So it's still, it's still one of those situations where even despite all of that, for some reason, people just didn't want what we were selling. And then, tomorrow may be a different day. It's just the way it works sometimes. Have you tried joining RC groups to try and sell items? Not recently, Shazad, because we mostly have parts for sale. So, it's one of those things. Oh, wow, we need to go down. Which shop gets you the most sales, asked Tracy Windle. It's normally the hobby store.
It's normally the hobby store.
Yeah.
The general store is fairly new, although the general store did really well last week.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty even with the hobby store, wasn't it? So that was really, really awesome.
Yeah. Okay, let's just go down the chat. Oh my god. Ash is ridiculous. I'm the legend. Thank you for the incredible super chat. I'm a simple man. I see people give money. I give money. Ash.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. It's crazy.
That
you got
crazy.
And Andrew as well. Keep at it, guys. You kill it. Andrew, the Money Mental UK as well.
Thank you.
Oh, guys, you know what? We like I said, we don't talk about our sale. We're never going to talk about our sales being bad. From now on, all the videos are going to be with superimposed Lamborghinis.
Yeah, you know
okay,
what?
I'm gonna Photoshop a beach behind me. All right.
We need to add this green screen.
We're gonna get Ad's green screen in here. We're gonna have a beach with a Lambo on it. Okay, some babes. You don't mind some babes, or
We ain't having no babes.
no babes. But just asking.
I'm your wife, right?
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I'm just saying.
I was just checking.
Yeah. You can have some hunks and.
I don't know hunks.
You don't know hunks. So you got me. But yeah, no, we kid, but do you know what I mean? Like we don't. Yeah, we do appreciate it so much. Simon says, I know how you feel. I've reached the point at my job of telling them to stuff it. I literally can't take anymore. So I'm propelling myself into full-time eBay with a lot of debt over me and no safety net, says Simon. That's the thing is, you know what? Debt is a really difficult.
I was going to say that's a hard place to come from.
Yeah.
If you've got debt,
if I was to advise, the thing is, I know I'm reckless. So even if I was, I don't like giving advice because we didn't take any of this advice. We did things the wrong way, but sometimes.
So really, you shouldn't listen to us.
Yes, that would be the wise thing to do. But we can only tell you
from our experience.
Yeah, from our experience, we just some people act or only act when they're in real trouble, and I think maybe that's where we fall into that category, where we couldn't see a way out of debt with our low paid normal jobs, and I think in a way that's what made it easy for us to do reselling. If you've got a job that you like or that you get paid well in, you've really got to think about whether you want to do reselling. That's how I feel. But because our jobs were rubbish, I've never had a really well paid job in all my life. I've always had really average paid jobs, and at best below the London average, or the national average is meant to be 28 grand. I didn't see anywhere near that, and I think that made it easy because I was like, well, we're still in debt. We're not earning the most money I can earn is this much after tax. It kind of made more sense to just take a risk, but debt will hold you back, and it's so tough. Sparrows and Mel says, you guys are making all the right decisions for your unique set of circumstances. You sound so on it and have a lot of clarity, which is priceless. Have you been listening to this, Mel? But thank you.
No, we appreciate that. Thank
Nick
you.
says, it's been said before but needs saying again, you are both an inspiration to us all. You show the highs and lows better than anyone. Nick, that is so kind of you to say. I really appreciate it. Do you know what? I sometimes feel we muddle along a bit, but that's the way it is. You know, you can.
If you saw inside our heads, you'd think, what? Because it really does feel like we're just muddling through.
Yeah.
And sometimes
Pommy
that's how it
Picker
feels.
says here, I had to go back into paid employment. I considered it failing at first, but adapt, keep positive, and soldier on. That's the thing. That's how we felt when Beck had to go back. But we now realise it's actually what's strengthened the business.
Yeah. I definitely appreciate my job more.
Yeah. There was a time in the beginning where it was really tough. You've started to really come,
but now
you've come round a little bit. I've noticed.
I mean, I've had a lot of stresses at work with like workload, and I'm one of those people when I don't feel like I'm coping with my workload. I feel like I'm doing a really rubbish job, and I hate that. That's one thing I hate. If I'm employed to do a job, I want to do it, and I want to do it to the best that I can do. Even if it's not something that I necessarily want to do in the future, I still want to give them everything that I can give them. And a few weeks ago, I wasn't coping with my workload, and it's hard.
But I think what's helped really is like we're now trying to see it, like Rod said, where you're taking that hit, but it's strengthening our business. Yeah. And it's not failing. I think it's how you look at things. Like you know, at first it felt like, because we've moved so far away from family, friends, everything, it felt like failing. But you know, we now see it as definitely as something that has helped. Gary Southwest Seller says eBay is a roller coaster. Now the missus gave up work in February. Reselling is our only income. Oh, wow. Made £85 selling at a car boot last Sunday. Have you thought about selling at a car boot?
We did that. Was it last year?
We've done it to clear stuff.
Yeah, we've done it to clear stuff. We haven't really.
The hobby store wouldn't be good for it, but the general store stock we could take possibly. It is an alternative. We have done it before, but more to clear stuff. But if we needed to, we would definitely. And Shazad says, my super chat is only for Z's KFC. Shazad, he's looking after me. Thank you. I appreciate it. I want my £2 back when sales are super awesome, Z, says Money Mental. Definitely. Dave says, I just want to see Beck smiling. Oh,
I smile.
And Mag says, I love your honesty and inspiration. Even though I work full time, says Josh's reselling adventures, and sell just as a sideline, my sales really affect my moods. So I think I understand somewhat how you feel. Sales definitely affects your moods and productivity. Yeah. I think it's kind of surprised me a bit this week. Because since having the office, I have overall been quite positive. Yeah. And this is the first week it's actually really hit me, and I've really felt down the last few days. I think you come out of work, and I notice you check your phone for sales now. Yeah, I do. And if you've had a sale on the second store, you're happy. Yeah. But otherwise I think it's because it means so much, because it means that like because we're fighting for this thing called consistency, and that's what Natalie Resells just talks about. I'm the other way around. I find I list quicker and more when sales are lower, but get a bit complacent when they're good, always battling with consistency. And I think consistency is that word. Yeah,
well, whichever way around it is, it's still something you have to try and manage,
do you know what the worst thing with all this stuff is, right? It's the amount of times you get caught out for being naive. The amount of times I think we've thought we finally sussed something.
I don't feel like...
No? Is it just me then? Okay.
I sit there sometimes like, what?
Yeah, but I've had times where I thought I maybe have sussed it, now we're going to be fine. And there's always something that happens. Mel says, Natalie, I'm the same. It works in reverse for me too. Poor sales, I panic and go into listing madness. Wow, Ash, that's a few KFCs. I really appreciate it, Ash, really and everybody. Peter Cummins says, when your sales are good, you give us money, right? Yes. Tommy says, the key is the start and end schedule within the manager, not doing it manually. The store gets double bumps. After 48 hours, the impressions are nil. What? Next week, £1,000 plus sales. Give everybody in the chat £1. You already got babe. I know. I was just joking. No, not sympathy money. Just supporting each other. Says KLC Reselling. Could we have some fit men in the beach scene? I did say that, Shelsteren. I did say that. I get to 1,000 subs. I'm buying a Lamborghini. Says Money Mental. What chat is this? What babes, you want to get a divorce? I have huge debts, says Dave. I might talk about it one day. Debts, you know what? We will be talking about our debts as well in the future, but we need to kind of get a handle on them. We're working on them right now, and we're seeing progress, which is really good. But debts they're always there. That's the worst thing about debts. Like, you never stop thinking about them. Like, you know, we talk about anyway, you'll all be laughing out the other sides of your faces when I turn up meet up next year in my Lambo, says Money Mental. Go for it, Andrew. Marry Death Deal says babes and hunks cheered them right up. Do what I say, not what I do. This is that. Jay says, I've had secure, well-paid jobs, but I was utterly miserable. In the end, I had to take a risk for the sake of happiness. Definitely. You're being so hard on yourselves tonight. There's nothing wrong with some muddling, but you do know what you're doing, says Mel. Appreciate that, Mel. It's possible, especially from what you just said, that this testing time will produce some reselling innovation, more diversity, says Charles Daruni. Yes and no. I feel like we've got two stores which are very diverse. Don't you think? We've got two stores which are very diverse.
We do.
So I feel that we've got enough there in terms of eBay world that we should be kind of okay. I mean, how many stores do we need to have, or how many more niches can we get into? I mean, I understand we've got like one niche store and one general store, but the general store is literally that. It's a general store. So hopefully we're going to be able to, get through these kind of weeks, and it's difficult. I mean, sometimes you just doubt yourself so much when things don't go well. Like when things aren't, you just question everything. You start questioning all the stock.
You do.
You do, don't you?
You do.
Yeah, like you literally think like,
Yeah, absolutely.
I left a stressful but well-paid job 12 years ago to become self-employed. Much less money, but so happy, says Stu Mandry. Exactly. I noticed when Becca's in the office, she works like a machine. So if at the doctors, are they taking advantage of your processing skills and leaving it all to you?
I wouldn't say that.
No?
But I do pick up a lot of the workload.
Okay. Guys, we need some fun. Tell us more tales of that infamous London debauchery. No, Pleasant Valley. We don't go into that. All right, let's go in. Having a look. Having a regular income is a massive thing. That way you can keep more money in your business. Your business will grow a lot faster, says Shazad. We have to agree. Yeah.
Overall, I think completely agree with what Shazad says there, and that's the aim for us. We are going to keep hold of this job as long as we possibly can. Yeah. Without having me back in full time, because we've got a lot of sorting out to do. You know, we've got a lot of things that we want to do. And having this job is going to be a real benefit to achieving those, particularly if it allows us to grow our business to where we aim for it to be. Yeah. I mean, but as long as we're able to cope with the beauty of
chats like this, though, is people come up with comments and that remind you of things that you may have thought of. Like Paul Calvert says, question: do you ever duplicate your multi-quantity listing on Amazon fulfilled by merchant? Helps me increase sales. You know what? This is so stupid, but we have actually tested Amazon with some RC parts, and it worked. I know. And we're sat here, and we still haven't actioned that.
So you can't say that we're doing everything. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That is something. But I talked. Didn't we talk about fulfilled by merchant?
We did
yesterday.
And we talked about it yesterday. Yeah. And we did do that test. I remember us doing that test for some of the RC parts, and it worked well. So
fulfilled by merchant is a completely risk-free way of doing it. We're storing it here anyway. So and Chelsea Rooney says, "Oh man, I do that. I literally think I've worked it out. Sales are good, sourcing is good, then it all goes to pot." I mean, that's the thing. It makes you naive sometimes. I
think it's a good reminder that you haven't got it completely sussed.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Exactly. And Tracy Windle says, I would love to do eBay full time, but I need my safety net working as a postie for security. I'm tired when I get home, so it's hard to list regularly to increase my inventory. It's definitely a catch-22, that situation, but it's something that at some point you're going to either have to go one way or the other, where you just make more time.
I mean, it's really hard to do. I mean, particularly with where I was coming from. I mean, I was working full time and trying to fit eBay in on a daily basis.
But you found that the office has really helped you with that.
Because, I struggled so much to try and get a structure put into place where I was doing a bit of eBay daily, and it wasn't until we got the office and then actually having that structure. And I only work on eBay 2 days a week. Yeah. Okay, so that's on a Tuesday afternoon and a Friday morning.
For about 3 hours a time, maybe, isn't it?
It's normally about,
well, 8 in total,
I aim
isn't it?
for 4 hours a week, a day on those
8
2
hours,
days. So 8 hours total is when I'm working on eBay. But that means when I come into the office, I am quite literally just sitting down and listing RC parts, because it's better for us and where we are with what we're doing. You're doing the general store, I'm doing the RC kind of bits, although you have done a bit of RC this week actually.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's working that way for us.
Yeah.
So, and it's really, really, really hard to get that routine and that structure in place, but once you feel like you've got it sorted, I feel so much better. I don't beat myself up on the Monday and Wednesday.
I know it's come across that we've beat ourselves up.
I don't beat myself up on those days when I'm not doing eBay, because I sit there and I'm like, it's not my eBay days.
Yeah. And you know what, guys, we're still gonna, this weekend, we're still gonna be at home, away from the office. We are. But that's because we know we've done everything we could, and we don't it comes across maybe as we're beating ourselves up a lot. I'm sorry about that, guys, but I think it's more just trying to understand and get your head around this, because we all say it's a roller coaster, but saying it is one thing and coping with it is quite another. Mel Sparrowzen says, debt feels like someone hanging onto your ankles every time you try to move forward. I paid off 20k in debt. The relief is out of this world. Wow. See, that is the kind of that's about the kind of task we're looking at, I think. So it's not unsurmountable. That's the thing. I don't want to make it into this big thing, but it really is always at the back of your mind, and it definitely affects your decisions and things like that. Simon says, I bet you do. I make decent money on eBay, but most of it is swallowed up by credit card payments. Yeah, exactly. That was response to to Mel, right, let me just quickly go down. But we're definitely going to do that fulfilled by merchant thing. Right. Are you still building up holiday fund? Keep plugging away and looking forward.
Yeah.
We are, Nick, yes. We are definitely working towards that. FBM, but you got a European audience on Amazon with FBA, says Dave. Now Sparrowzen says, at Bob, debt free apart from the mortgage for a couple of years, saved alongside paying it off, so suddenly found myself in a much better position. That is so cool. Sorry I'm late, says Flipping Fantastic Fine. No need to be sorry. What's all the super chats? Have I missed you guys stripping or something? Not quite. Zahir, take a look at Sellbrite. It sends all your listings to Amazon, and eBay handles all the inventory shipping. Oh, okay. I'll have a look at that, Tommy. Thanks for that. Kelly Z was twerking for money. It was amazing.
Oh, you shouldn't start rumours like that, Nick.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Right. Now, to end on a more positive note, because I know it has been pretty, a strong chat, hasn't it?
It has.
Right, let me just quickly go to the end. My current net level, including mortgage, is 188,000. When that's gone, I'll be full time, says Money Mental. Wow. All right, we're gonna go and talk about something a bit positive now. The chat's been positive anyway. All right.
Yeah.
We hope we haven't. It's a difficult topic to talk about, and be 100% positive. So I understand if some of it would have come across as like we were beating ourselves up or a bit down, and I do apologise for that, guys. We do apologise for it, don't we? But that wasn't our intention. Our intention was to talk about the fact that it just happens, and coping with it isn't always easy, even though you almost expect it. But this is a side of the community that is insane, that is just mind-blowing. I've not seen Dave Weeks in the chat today, which is a shame, but we have got a viewer called Dave Weeks, who, a fellow reseller, who's been watching the channel for ages and has been a great viewer, and he's bought something off us as well, I think, some Lego, and he wanted to send us his version of a super chat.
Yeah.
And today in the post, I got this. How cool is that? That is a vintage. I'm not going to bore you guys with it, but I'm just gobsmacked at the generosity. This is just the most crazy thing.
Yeah.
This is the most crazy thing.
It is a fixer-upper.
It's a fixer-upper. But this, Dave Weeks sent me this as a super chat, basically, like an offline super chat, because he had it lying around. It's a Tamiya Nissan Skyline. It needs a bit of work.
It does.
It needs a little bit of work.
It's been well played with.
But wow. But this is vintage, guys. This is vintage.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at the red diff cases. I mean, this thing is insane. Here's the RC says, I am so happy about this.
Zahir's like over the
This
moon.
thing is insane. Really is. This thing is just bonkers.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I'm going to fix this up. This is going to be part of my collection. Just look at it. Look at that vintage Tamiya. You can tell this is the I'll give you a bit of info. This is the TA2 chassis, quite a good chassis. You've got red diff cases at the rear and front. One thing you want to do if you ever buy a Tamiya is you want to change out the bushings for ball bearings in the wheel hubs, because for some reason they put bushings in, so you want to put ball bearings in. And look how vintage this is. That is a mechanical speed controller. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Mechanical. That's old school. Like nowadays they're all electronic. They're called ESCs, electronic speed control. That's a mechanical, and that's why it needs an extra servo. I'm just like, so pumped. And guess what? Guys? Dave is actually sending me another one out as well. He had the couple. He sent this out. Just generosity is just...
That's just crazy.
Oh, if you eBay that Skyline, offer it to Australia, they go mad for Skylines. It's a vintage Tamiya. It's worth money, but this is mine.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way that Zahir's going to part with this.
Mine. Bex looks so thrilled right now. Damn, 2 bushings in the hand. How much are they worth?
Do you know what? Zahir's going to enjoy
fixing this up. Yeah, I'll be fixing this up.
So, yeah.
Z's eyes go like this when he talks Nazi. But this is so cool. This is like the coolest thing.
It is. So big thank you to Dave.
I love it.
I'm
gonna get to do it up. I'm gonna change the bushings out, put bearings in it.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get rid of that servo. We're gonna swap out the ESC for a. I'm probably gonna put a brushed ESC. Brush motor in it, because the motor's got a bit of rust on it. It probably works, but like the ESC, you want to get an electronic one really. And then obviously I need some body posts on it, some new tyres, the shell. It's just going to be such a fun thing to do.
It is.
Merry Christmas. It's just sell it. There's no profit in compassion. This is I'm never selling this. This is just too cool to sell. This is too cool.
Oh, Dave Weeks is actually in the chat.
Oh, I'm just happy for Z to fix it and have fun. Dave, thanks for popping into the chat.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how... I can't tell you. It's such a kind gesture. The community is amazing, and Dave is an example of that. I just don't know what to say. This is Oh, I'm just pumped. This is going to be such a cool car. I'm going to fix it up. And guess what? Look at this. This is so cool. This is so cool.
Really...
The decals are still on the sheet. Look at that. Loctite. That is so cool.
Yeah.
That is the... No, be careful. Put it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think this is so cool. This is so cool. If you had to sell one, which one would you sell? The car or the DX shirt? I've got to say it would have to be the DX shirt, because this gesture as well. It just means like the DX shirt I found in the charity shop. Do you know what I mean? That was it. This has a story now. Do you know what I mean? That every time I will be able to use it, this is now like a story. So, and I'm just humbled, beyond humbled. Just thank you so much. Look at his little face. Look at him. I hope you're not going to go bashing with it. No, I'm not. No worries, says Dave. I was just clearing out the garage. A couple more boxes are going Z's way. Thank you so much, Dave. Those decals are cool. They are. So, Beck, what present do you want, says Dave? Last week, the shirt. This week, an RC gives. He's having fun. Vintage bubble wrap, too, says Oh, gosh. No, I just... That kind of thing makes doing YouTube, sharing with you guys... Yeah. Forget eBay sales. He has a new RC, doesn't he? Do you know what? It makes... Things like this are just unexpected, because obviously you don't do YouTube and expect stuff like, you just don't, or you don't expect the super chats, you don't expect this, so it's just an incredible example of community. It really is. It is just
and we really do appreciate it.
Yeah,
we appreciate all the support we get from the community.
Yeah, we do. So much so that I might even have to come back on Facebook. I don't know, man. I'm getting FOMO now, because it's not right, is it? Now I know what 5-year-old Z looked like at Christmas. Says PvP. Bex deserves a gift too. Yeah, I mean, she can. I'll let you
he'll let me race it.
No, I wouldn't let you. I wouldn't let you race it. Actually, I wouldn't.
I was like, no.
I'll get you something else. All right. Okay.
I remember when Nick and Andrea came back and Nick had a bit of a play on your RC. And you were very quick to be like, no,
that's not. To be fair, Nick had been drinking. I didn't want him to drink dry. Okay, that's what it was. But next time we meet up, we should do that again.
We should, shouldn't we?
No. Okay. Alright, guys. Did Z just say the F word? Did I? No,
did you?
No, I didn't. No.
You may have done.
No, I didn't. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you.
For joining us. We really do appreciate the chat, and we do appreciate the community. And yeah, it's been a really emotional chat for us.
Hasn't it?
I think it's because it's just, you guys, man.
Yeah.
And the topic as well. I want to see Beck's reaction to a gift she wants. So what do you want, sister?
You know what? I don't want things.
You don't want things? No. I don't want things. Yep, I wouldn't trust Nick with your RC. You know what? I did trust him with it. He did get like a play, but I did
it was very short.
I did quickly I think I took... Oh, Facebook, the F.
Oh!
Yes. Maybe. I think I've earned it now. What do you reckon?
Well, I'm back on it.
Yeah, but you're just not on it. You're not on...
I'm not... I haven't gone on any groups yet. But
okay.
I'm on it. I'm there.
Nick says I couldn't control Z's RCO. It is really fast, that one.
Yeah. To be fair, you had a few drinks though, Nick. So.
Yeah, at that point, so I was nervous. Yeah. Okay. She wanted a perfume the other week. Oh, or have I got that wrong? What about a PC and mic setup that works? Her PC works fine.
It works fine.
Okay.
I'm happy with my PC.
Right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We're not going to keep you any longer. We've already been here for hour and 10, and we will see you guys in the next video. And thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you so much.
And thanks everyone for the support.
Yeah.
Again.